There is a question no historian has ever been able to answer. Why do certain abandoned places refuse to disappear? Not because they survive time, because time seems to avoid them. Deep within an overgrown estate stands a forgotten room that has appeared in police reports, travel journals, and private diaries for more than 200 years. The descriptions never change. Tall windows glowing with an unnatural green light. A single chair facing empty space. An open door that seems to invite only one visitor at a time. No one knows who built it. No one knows why it exists. But everyone who enters leaves believing they have experienced the greatest miracle of their lives. Every illness disappears. Every injury heals. Every nightmare ends. The room asks for no payment, no ritual, no sacrifice, only one quiet hour. Most people call that a bargain, until they discover what they unknowingly left behind. Because the room never takes something you can see. It takes the one memory your entire life was built around. And once it's gone, you won't even remember losing it. The first person to leave detailed notes about the room was a surveyor named Daniel Mercer. He wasn't searching for legends. He was mapping forgotten land before it could be sold. Late one afternoon, his compass began spinning without stopping. Every path he followed led back to the same abandoned mansion. The building looked untouched by weather. The windows were clean. The wooden floor showed no signs of decay. It was as if the house had been waiting. Daniel stepped into the glowing room and decided to remain for exactly 1 hour. Nothing happened. No voices. No shadows. No ghosts. Just silence so complete that he could hear his own heartbeat. When he finally walked outside, the chronic pain in his injured leg had completely vanished. For the first time in 15 years, he could run. He laughed all the way home. 3 mornings later, he looked at an old family photograph and realized he had no idea who the woman standing beside him was. The picture showed his wife. But to Daniel, she had become a stranger. Doctors believed he had suffered a rare form of memory loss. Psychologists blamed stress. His friends thought he was pretending. Only Daniel knew the truth. He remembered every street he had walked, every job he had worked, every birthday, every lesson from childhood. Yet the person he loved most had been erased with impossible precision. It was like someone had removed a single page from a book without disturbing the chapters around it. Obsessed with finding answers, Daniel returned to the mansion. Except it wasn't there. The road ended in an empty field. Local residents insisted no house had ever existed. His maps had changed. His photographs had changed. Even his journal now described spending the day alone in the countryside. Only one sentence remained untouched. The room always keeps the better half of the bargain. Daniel spent the rest of his life searching for a place that reality itself insisted had never existed. Decades passed, then centuries. The stories refused to die. A blind musician suddenly recovered his sight, but forgot every melody he had ever composed. A firefighter survived fatal burns, yet could no longer remember the faces of his own children. A famous professor gained perfect health, but lost the ability to recognize written words. The pattern became impossible to ignore. The room never stole random memories. It chose the one memory that quietly defined a person's identity. Not their happiest moment, not their worst. The memory that answered one invisible question. Who are you? Without it, people continued living. They smiled. They worked. They laughed. But something inside them always felt unfinished. Like a puzzle missing the one piece no one could describe. The mystery might have remained a legend forever if it hadn't attracted the attention of neuroscientist Dr. Evelyn Shaw. Unlike everyone before her, she wasn't interested in miracles. She wanted proof. Before entering the mansion, Evelyn documented every important memory she could think of. She recorded hundreds of video diaries, filled notebooks with childhood stories, and wrote the names of everyone she loved. If the room erased something, she planned to recover it. She entered just before sunset. The room was exactly as the stories described. Green light poured through the windows. The air felt warm. The chair sat perfectly still in the center of the room. She waited. 1 hour passed. Nothing happened. Disappointed, Evelyn walked out believing the legends had been exaggerated. The next morning, every recording she had made still existed, but they no longer matched her memories. In every video, she looked directly into the camera and repeated the same sentence. "If you're seeing this, don't go back." She had no memory of recording those words. Certain the videos had been altered, Evelyn returned to the mansion one final time. The room looked unchanged, until she noticed the walls. Thousands of tiny scratches covered the wooden panels from floor to ceiling. Each mark was perfectly spaced from the next, as though someone had counted every visitor who had ever entered. Then she saw the chair. Someone was already sitting in it. The figure slowly looked up. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a monster. It was Evelyn. Older. Calmer. Watching her with a look of sympathy, the woman smiled and quietly said, "You think the room steals memories. It doesn't. It stores them. Every person who leaves becomes a little less complete, and every memory they lose becomes part of someone else." Before Evelyn could speak, the older version of herself faded into the green light, as if she had never been separate from the room at all. Search teams arrived 2 days later. The mansion was gone. In its place stood an empty field that had never appeared on any map. Evelyn was never found. Only one notebook remained. Its final page contained a single sentence written in handwriting that experts confirmed belonged to her. "The room is not collecting memories. It is building the perfect human mind. Every forgotten face, every lost childhood, every vanished dream, every stolen lifetime still exists somewhere behind those glowing windows, waiting, learning, growing." Perhaps that's why abandoned places sometimes feel familiar. Perhaps that's why complete strangers occasionally appear in our dreams. Or why certain rooms make us feel as though we've already been there. Maybe we have. And maybe the reason you can't remember is because a part of you never actually left. Somewhere, beyond a door washed in green light, the room is still waiting. Not for another visitor. For the last memory it needs.